shall hear of wars, and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, and pestilences, and earthquakes in divers places. And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up, and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. For as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
Well, a historic move in Ireland as the country voted to repeal a law banning abortion. Some in the U.S. media marking this as a victory. Listen.
In Ireland, a loud and emphatic yes as voters repeal a constitutional ban on abortion.
The final tally showing overwhelming support for women's reproductive rights in the mostly Catholic country.
This vote marks a dramatic shift in what was once described as the most Catholic country in the world.
So does this move the Catholic faith more to the left as religion becomes more progressive to welcome more people in? But is that a good thing, or should we stick to the original tenets? That's the core question here. Should religion stay conservative to the core tenets, or follow the progressive trends of society? Let's bring in our religious panel to discuss. Dr. Menez Afridi is a Muslim scholar. Reverend Samuel Rodriguez is the president of the National Hispanic Leadership Conference. Rabbi Abraham Cooper is an associate dean at the Simon Wiesenthal Center. And Father Jonathan Morris is a Fox News religion contributor. Thank you all for joining us this morning. A great panel. I could start it out this way. A Muslim scholar, evangelical pastor, Jewish rabbi, and Catholic priest enter a bar. But we won't. No, I'm just kidding. It would be the start of a great joke. But this is no laughing matter. This is a serious subject. Father John, I'm going to start with you. Sure. Ireland, a predominantly Catholic country. This vote, what is this vote saying about the current status of the Catholic Church?
Well, we should be clear that the leadership of the Catholic Church stood up against the repeal of this amendment. So it wasn't that the Catholic Church has said, no, this is the direction we want to go in. But they did not have the authority or the persuasiveness sufficient in order to say no to this repeal of this amendment. And so it says that, unfortunately, society has moved in this direction so strongly of pro-abortion. You call it what you want. You could say, no, it's just, we're just allowing free choice. But in the United States of America alone, since 1973, we've had upwards of 40 million abortions. 40 million? That is a huge number. And the fact that Ireland, a Catholic country, a Christian country, is going in that direction is nothing to celebrate.
Abraham, you call it a protest vote. Why?
Well, I think what we're looking at in Ireland is an embrace of the EU environment. Ireland's done very well by taking a lead in the European Union. And, as an Orthodox rabbi, it's not for me to comment on what the church should do. But clearly, in a society that has made a move, and now you have a church where it's still the predominant faith, they're still the predominant teachers, but there has to be a shift in terms of persuasion rather than the starting point, well, these are the rules, you follow them, our way or out the door. It is a pivotal moment.
Samuel, pivotal moment overall as well. From an evangelical perspective, is progressivism creeping into our faith? And if so, what impact is that having on not just Ireland, but America and the world writ large?
Well, the idea of progressive Christianity is oxymoronic in its depiction and its expression. You can't have both progressive Christianity. Let me explain. Christianity is about the gospel. The gospel of Jesus never changes. It's truth, love, grace, hope, and faith. Regardless of the time, the culture, society, truth, love, grace, and hope should never be sacrificed on the altar of political, cultural, or sexual expediency.
Absolutely. Manaz, briefly on this, and I'm going to get your points on another topic as well. What does Islam have to say about abortion and life as it pertains not just to Ireland, but the whole issue?
Well, Islam, like all the other Abrahamic faiths, believes that, there's a value of human life. However, it's also a very practical religion where there have been certain legal scholars that have said that if there is a danger of the mother's health or there is some kind of disease, that it is permissible under certain kind of legal situations. It's not that Muslims don't or are promoting abortion at all, but I think that there are certain loopholes in the Islamic law, and there are certain fatwas, which is just a legal opinion from scholars, that do allow it under dire circumstances. And it's a very multi-layered issue. I'm the only woman here on the panel, so I would like to say that it is an issue that's very complex for all women, whether they are pro-abortion or against abortion. I also don't like the term pro-abortion. I don't think anyone is pro-abortion. I think we're all pro-life, and it's about how we see life that's important to us in our faith.
Well, appreciate that perspective. We're going to move on to one more topic, try to get you all to chime in on it briefly. Is the U.S. plummeting birth rate a sign that a focus on family values are diminishing? The new stats from the National Center for Health Statistics shows that less babies are being born in the United States. The replacement rate is generally 2 kids per family, but you see those numbers, the number of babies born per year is dropping. Father John, let me start with you. The stereotype, of course, is that Catholic families have lots of kids. If that is changing, would that be a sign that the view of families is changing for Catholics as well?
I think so. I mean, I think the sexual revolution has affected the Catholic Church, the United States of America in a profound way, saying sex has nothing to do with procreation. And it's not all about procreation. It's also about the unitive aspect of 2 people coming together in love, no doubt. But when you separate sex from procreation or the openness to life, things change. But there's also very practical political things that are changing in the United States. For example, people are graduating from college with $200,000 of debt, and are they going to get married to somebody who has somebody who has $200,000 of debt and start off a family with $400,000 of debt and have children? It's not easy. That's why politics matter also on very important things like family life.
Abraham, for each of you, I want to get you all in. We don't have that much time left. What is it about birth rate that matters in demographics?
Well, take a look at our 2 allies, Japan and Israel. Japan's very affluent. They're probably going to go from 130 million to 80 million people. They're not bringing children into the world. I think they've lost their way in terms of values. Israel, you guys cover them every day. It's under the gun, existential threats. The birth rate among religious and secular people is going up because they have a sense of their past and future. As far as America, it's called the iPhone. This is the me generation. My suggestion is shut the damn thing off and go back to basic values.
Samuel, why do kids matter?
Kids matter. It's a de facto outcome of a constant mockery of the institution of the family. We see that culturally in films and movie and content, in writings and publications, social media. The family now is a joke, and even the idea of a modern family, a traditional family, for whatever, however you want to describe it, is a joke. So it's under assault. Kids matter. It's the future of America, the future of morality and spirituality, the future of our human existence. Indeed.
Manaz, you speculate that the economy has something to do with birth rates as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I think if you look at statistics and if you look at data, women are having kids later. Women have trouble having kids later because they're looking for a professional life. They have to both be working, a man and a woman, or any kind of a relationship. You have to both have incomes. I think the economic factor in the United States makes it very hard for middle class and lower middle class families to have a whole realistic economic plan. And I think that people are getting married later. Even in the Muslim American community, I see this as a big impact.
It's an amazing cultural conversation, because in the West, families are having less kids, but a lot of the refugee or immigrant populations moving into those countries are having more kids, which changes the whole religious, cultural, and social dynamic in those countries. It truly matters. We're going to have you guys back, I have a feeling, on future Sundays. Menez, Samuel, Abraham, Jonathan, smart folks. Appreciate your faith as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Planned Parenthood makes zero profit on any fetal tissue donations.
You are reimbursed for what costs?
Simply costs of preservation, transfer,
If we alter our process and we are able to obtain intact fetal cadavers, it's all just a matter of the line items.
That would be $100 per specimen. 50 specimens per day would be $5,000 per day that Planned Parenthood was collecting from fetal tissue. Extrapolate that, $120,000 per month. That is certainly not recouping cost.
In terms of areas that I can contribute to the organization, both locally and nationally, is diversification of revenue streams. Well, so under the scope of where we probably have an edge over other organizations, our organization has been doing research for many, many, many years. And we've had studies in which the company, or in the case of the investigator, has a specific need for a certain portion of the products of conception, and we bake that into our contract and our protocol that we follow this. So we deviate from our standard in order to do that. Telling you this so then we can get creative about when and where and under what conditions can we interject something that is specific to the tissue procurement needs.
Sorry, that goes to my perfect for my next. Can you get creative? Can you alter if we say we need a liver?
Or not just liver, thymus, but let's say neural tissue is very difficult.
Could you adjust the procedure if you knew, okay, they need high volume of this? Could you match that and
18 to 22 week neural specimens, in
so
both hemispheres intact.
Yes, you could do that.
Yeah, I think we can. I mean, some of it is really outside. Some of it will be happenstance because sometimes as the procedure is happening, the procedure itself for the removal is generally standardized. I'm saying generally loosely, generally standardized, and so just depending on the patient's anatomy, how many weeks, where it's placed in the uterus, we're going to potentially be able to have some that will be more or less intact, and then some that will not be.
Right.
So, but it's something that we can look at exploring how we can make that happen, so we have a higher chance. It'll probably also require a little bit of input from the doctors. Because the doctors are the ones asking, directly doing that, and when it matters, in the cases of when it's mattered, the physicians also need an intact specimen. They can make it happen. So we just need to figure out how that we can do this, under our project needs.
How many providers practice in the second trimester?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. Everybody that is here does.
And really, specifically the later than 16-week cases, I guess.
I want to say that we have 6.
6 providers that go beyond 16 weeks. Oh wow.
And that's something we'll have to discuss, with the docs and see how they can do it, because some of our doctors in the past had projects and they're collecting the specimens, so they do it in a way that they get the best specimens. So I know it can happen.
No, but the doctors were also doing research. Oh, wow.
Okay, very good. I'm more on the business end of it. I know that just going with the history of what's happened and wanting to not have that happen again. So for specific specimens, the compensation would be higher because we know you're going to run into problems. So how do we frame that so that we're not saying we're giving higher?
We can work it out in the context of obviously the procedure itself is more complicated, so that anything that we integrate into that procedure without having you cover the procedural cost is going to be higher, right? So anything about higher gestational age, there's more opportunity for complication, there's more administrative time involved, sometimes the procedures are longer, so then anything that we piggyback onto that for collection purposes, obviously, would have to reflect that additional time cost, administrative burden.
So that our compensation that's higher to you for our specific specimen intact could be built.
And that's something that getting more information about it, as intact as you need, how we're going to do that. Then from there, when I'm working with our clinical trials and all of our specimen collection, additional specimen collection needs, I'm pretty bullish about getting as much information as I can prior to budgeting.
Well, that your financial background, really, I think that's what you can see the benefit of this financially. Just having that background and seeing that there is it's gold out there. And it can be so beneficial. So I'm glad that you had that background so that you see the financial benefits of getting the right specimen and getting it intact, and if you have to change the procedure just a little bit within the framework that keeps it, we're all talking about it the same way, in the right way, but that financial gain and the to your staff just knowing this is the end.
I think everyone realizes, especially because my department contributes so much to the bottom line of our organization, even though we're one of the largest affiliates. Our research department is the largest in the United States, larger than any of the other affiliates combined.
Wow.
If that provider is needing to change the technique a little bit, and I know I'm going against my side of this, but I'm okay with, no, I want you to be paid per specimen, and rather than, oh, here, just ship this off. No, this is what we're looking for, and if you can do that and it compensates you and financially that's helping you to grow your clinic, I'm willing to do that.
And so if we alter our process and we are able to obtain intact fetal cadavers, then we can make it part of the budget that any dissections are this, and splitting the specimens into different shipments is this. I mean, it's all just a matter of line items.
And so what are they? Are they requesting just liver or liver thymus? Liver thymus longa?
Everything. CNS, brain, kidney, thymus, liver, spleen, femur, bone marrow, hematopoietic stem cells from 14 to 22 weeks of gestation.
They're going to engraft all of those or just the hematopoietic?
And they want it up to 22 weeks.
Yeah, including CNS, brain. Wow, they want everything. See, so that's the thing. So for a study like that, if we could provide, just a whole cadaver, and then they can take exactly what they want with the full quality, and everything, that is actually going to be ideal for them.
Well, very happy for us to finish up what we need to do, and I can put you in contact with you.
And their range ranges 14 to 22 weeks is what they're saying.
Yes. Oh, and I was wrong. They want 120.
120. This is huge.
Are there any fresh specimens from today that we can still look at, or?
We had a really long day and they're all mixed up together in a bag. Yet if I would have known 10 minutes ago, I would have saved something.
Yeah, but if we could get if that doesn't, I mean, it's not like we need something today, but if we could get a visual today of it, that would be a good thing. Is that possible?
Yeah, let me see. That one was probably frozen.
What we're looking for is like a visual baseline of like intact and everything, just so that we know, like on a typical day, like kind of what that looks like.
Based on just sometimes how really
You're not seeing nothing intact today. Because the one that the tissue, all that's collected into one.
What was the latest case that you did today?
The latest case we did today was a 5-week case. It was a 20. I know what you mean.
Right.
That was one of the very first ones. That one.
So we're oftentimes looking for liver and thymus. John, can you help me out? So I think this is lung, right?
Yes, this is correct.
Kidney. Yeah, this is our lungs. It's nice and thick in the middle there.
So the intestines are here.
This is, like I said, the organs come out really well.
Right. Right.
Pretty much almost like this hat.
The center right here.
Yes.
Do you ever see thymus?
In the intestines, this is really important.
Uh-huh.
A lot of
But it's difficult to find thymus at this gestation. Is this? This is limb. Okay,
yeah.
And this is like scapula.
Yeah. The other thing that plays a tremendous part in this all is the dilation.
Exactly.
That you've obtained.
Exactly.
And also how cooperative the patient is during the procedure.
Oh, really? Are they under conscious sedation? Or
Yeah.
Okay.
It's conscious sedation, but there's also times where it's just you're pretty much maxed out, and there's tolerance.
Oh.
Sometimes it's a little bit more difficult.
They're easy to find too, even in the early gestation